it makes life easier. Being an emotionally intelligent person makes being alive in this sometimes crappy world, you know, it makes it a lot easier. And like, even if you don't think that you're an emotionally intelligent person, there's always ways to learn.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the second episode podcast for the Keep Going Project. So I want to welcome you, and I'm super excited to have one of my favorite people in the whole world here, my daughter, Hannah, in which, if you've got the book, you'll find out really quickly that the book, this is her handwriting, and really the Keep Going was very much inspired by you, and you know that. But I'd already kind of gotten part of the book done, and then COVID hit, and all kinds of stuff happened, and in your life and in our life, and then we both really had some struggle times, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I guess, because this is kind of unfiltered, unscripted. I'm amazed. Thank you for even agreeing to do this, because I know this isn't your favorite thing, but
I told you this was the only way I'd be on camera.
Yeah.
Because I don't like talking like a script or talking to a camera. I'd rather just have a conversation with you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, I want everything about Keep Going. I want it to be really true, authentic, vulnerable, and just honest, and raw. I feel like we need more of that in the content that we consume, on the endless scrolling that we all do. I think, the people that are real, that's who resonate, I think, with both of us, because we're always sending TikToks back and forth. But go back to, so you're about to be 22. And so in 2019, you were 17, right?
I think that math is correct.
Okay. So
I think that this started in my junior year, so that would be right. Yeah.
So, share what you want to share about your journey of having setbacks and making your own mistakes in life, and things that just kind of maybe started to develop. I know anxiety is a big part of your life today. You've had little spells of depression because of different things that has happened, but take me back to those times, your junior year of high school.
Well, I think that a lot of it started, I had my first real big relationship, and I mean, how he was my first love, and whenever we broke up, it kind of sent me for a spiral, because I was just I had become so codependent on him. And then after I was just being so sad over the breakup, it was just, I started going into this pit of, oh, well, I'm not enough. And then that just by the time I was over the relationship, I had a list of these whole new problems and insecurities. And so whenever that all ended, it was just I didn't know what to do with myself, because we became so close so fast, and then whenever that was ripped away, it was just
a major
void.
Well,
yeah, and it was just I was searching to fill that void. It didn't work out. And
what
so
kind
then,
of things did you try to fill that void with?
Other relationships, and it was just they're not working because it's not what I needed at the moment. But I found that out eventually, but it took me a while, because I immediately got into another relationship that was with one of my best friends, and then it was not good. Should have stayed friends. We're friends now to this day, and love them, but at the time it was not the right decision. And then I immediately got into another relationship that lasted over 3 years, and it was not healthy, off and on. But then I finally got out of that and realized and then I moved up to St. Louis and realized oh, okay, this is what I needed. I needed to be single this whole time. I needed to find myself. And so I'm doing a lot better now. And then of course during my senior year, with Nana passing from COVID, that sent me into the biggest spiral I've ever had in my entire life. I've never been lower than that. And so like, luckily I had a good support system, but like also I was pushing everything away, everything and everyone. And I was just grieving so hard that I didn't go to school. I, did this and that. And then, yeah, I realized, and then, I mean, I feel like that also played a part because in that relationship, it went downhill really fast after Nana died because it was just like I needed to be alone and I needed to grieve by myself and not have any, what's the word, obligations towards anybody. And so whenever that ended, like I feel like I could grieve a little bit better and I could just like find myself more. And so that's still what I'm doing. I'm not saying that I'm like perfect.
Sure.
But I'm definitely a lot better than I was 3-4 years ago.
But navigating, so what I'm hearing is, and this is very similar to me, so it's, your whole life people have said you're so much like your dad.
Yeah.
And I love that you have some of my good qualities, but you also have some of my not so good qualities because we are prone to mental health crap, and really struggling.
Yeah.
And really the voices of insecurity that play on a loop in our minds are very, very similar. We may tell ourselves different things, but let's double down and if you would expound on that just a little bit, expand on it. Because I think that in today's world of social media and constant scrolling and constantly looking for that notification of somebody seeing you on social, how go back to your 17-year-old self versus today, what have you done to reprogram that part of your brain that you are enough today? And obviously it's always a work in progress.
Right. It's a push and pull. But I mean, so whenever I was in high school, it was constantly like posting on Instagram. It was just like the way to feel validation. And so like, and I remember like, it was like, oh, if you don't get at least 100 likes, then like you should take the post down. And it's just like, why? So, I mean, what I did is I just stopped posting altogether. Like I just didn't post for years. And then I started just posting whatever I wanted. Like, I don't, like, it's not like, just forget the whole aesthetic thing.
Agreed.
And the whole, like, oh, I want people to think that I'm cool. It doesn't matter. Like, post whatever you want, post whatever you feel like is cool to you. And who cares if you don't get a whole lot of likes? I mean, that's, because, like, my Instagram now is just, like, posts of me having fun and my friends and, like, things that I find cool and intriguing and like I'm not sitting there like watching my likes go up anymore. And I think that just realizing that like it doesn't matter, like it sounds silly to talk about like being in high school and like and I know that it's not just me because like some of my girlfriends, they would be like, oh, this post isn't getting a lot of likes, I'm gonna take it down. And like I was just like that was just normal. But now, like, being an adult, it's just, like, that's so silly.
Yeah, it really
is.
Like,
why?
It really is.
Like, why did we think that? Like, who cares? But, I mean, there's a lot of, like, popularity, and I wish that, like, I wish that I could tell my younger self, like, that shit doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't.
After you graduate, I haven't talked to anybody from high school other than my very close friends. I don't like even really care to like I wish them the best, they're having great lives, but like it's also just like, okay, well I'm my own person now. I don't rely on other people's validation. If I need anybody to validate me, I want it to be my family and my close friends, not people that I barely knew or were mean to me in high school.
Golly, that's so good. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
No, really, that's such a mature thing to say, because I'm telling you, there are people my age that are still seeking outside validation. Validations that really don't matter. And those can be validations of, I'm going to go get in debt up to my eyeballs to buy this big fancy new vehicle just so that my friends think I'm successful.
Right.
Or whatever. I fell into that trap,
Right.
Just it was so important to me that you and your brother and your mom felt that I was a good caregiver and that I was a
Mm-hmm.
good provider.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes, even if the money wasn't there, I would still try my best to leverage, just to try to surprise you guys with a trip to New York
Mm-hmm.
for Christmas,
Yeah.
or different things like that, to be like, wow,
Right.
Jason's got it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until maybe 5 years ago that I finally said, okay, that's stupid. Whoever said keeping up with the Joneses, I don't even know who the damn Joneses
Yeah.
are, but I don't need to keep up with them anymore.
Yeah.
It's just live your life and be happy. I think that, a lot of mental health is, somebody said it, and I'll probably say it wrong, but you may have seen this, but anxiety is worrying about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Depression is dwelling on the past.
Mm-hmm.
When do we make time to live right
the
now
present,
in the present?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I think your brain mostly goes on the anxiety stuff, worrying about stuff. So just give me an example of maybe a recent time where you felt like you were about to have a panic attack, or just feeling super anxious. Was it at work?
Yeah. I think that work is my biggest stressor for sure. 'Cause I never know.
She's a preschool teacher, by the way.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
all in itself, that's all we have to say.
Yeah.
To say this is kind of stressful. But
Yeah. It's just, it's hard whenever you're having a bad day. Like, if you're having a bad mental day, it feels impossible to do the job because you're
supposed to be all smiles.
right. And like, singing these songs and doing all this, and those kids like feed off of your energy,
your emotion, yeah.
directly. Like, and so if you're having a bad day, they're probably gonna have a bad day. And so it's just like, all right, well, I'm already feeling crappy, and then I come into work and then the kids are not listening and they're just crying, and it doesn't help your day at all.
Sure.
So that's probably my biggest stressor. I don't know if necessarily it gives me anxiety. My future, but like what gives me anxiety is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Well,
that's
a pretty
gives me
big
anxiety.
question.
Yeah, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I was talking to Mom the other day on the phone, and I broke down and started crying because I told her, I said, I have to hang up on you because I'm going to cry. And I was at work. And I was like, I need to go. And then I ended up having to go to the bathroom, and I had a panic attack because it stressed me out so bad. And it made me so anxious because I just, thinking about what my next like chapter is freaks me out. And like rationally, I know I have time. Like, that's what everybody tells me. And so rationally I know that, but anxiety has nothing to do with rationality.
I agreed.
Like, and so it doesn't matter if that's like a fact that I know. That doesn't matter if everybody in my life tells me, well, that's irrational. You don't need to figure out exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. Everybody tells me that anytime I talk about it. And I'm like, I know that. I am aware.
Yeah.
But like, that
but
doesn't,
you can't just shut that
you
piece of your
can't.
brain
Yeah,
off.
because it's still like, it's still there.
Agreed.
And it's like, I want to live in the present, but sometimes it's just so hard. And it feels like I can't. And because I'm just like, so, I don't know.
Describe to somebody watching, because the last podcast that we did with Brian, he was asking like, who is a good recipient for the book? Who do I want to read it? And I mean, obviously anybody that's struggling or just needing that push of encouragement.
I think you could go even further than that and just say anybody, period.
Well,
because even if somebody's not struggling, they still know people that are.
Correct.
And this book could be a way, like a tool guide to be able to help those people. I don't think that it's just for the mentally ill. I think that it's just for everybody.
Well, thank you for saying that, babe. But but to your point, that's what I shared with Brian the other day when we were talking about this. Is we had these beta readers that we just sent PDF copies of the book before it was all printed, and we got feedback from different age groups and different people, and one of the most powerful responses that I got, because they kind of reviewed it or gave feedback,
Right.
it was so, go back to the validating word. It was very validating that I'm doing something pretty cool here, because he said, I struggled with a mom that I never understood why she was always depressed or why she was always withdrawn or didn't want to do things that normal moms would do. He never understood that. And he's 30 years old, and now his mom is 50, 60, whatever. And he said, but this book shined a light and I think helped him gain some empathy towards what his mom had went through, just seeing it through the lens of somebody else's perspective. And so that was such a powerful acknowledgement that I thought that's really good, because I shared that your brother and you and your mom and other people really close to me, when you're sitting watching your loved one really suffer, and you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, because to your point, whether you're dealing with depression or anxiety, everybody else just wants to fix it or snap out of it, or oh, you're thinking about it wrong, and yeah, they all are correct, but a depressed brain and an anxious brain, really, you can't just say shut up to your brain.
You can't.
So what have you done to calm yourself, for those that are like, I get it, I see you, Hannah, like I deal with the same stuff. What if over the years, what kind of things have you done, some healthy things that maybe just will quiet your mind and kind of shut that off a little bit?
I mean, honestly, like the cliche stuff that you hear about, like it does work. Like you hear it and you're like, oh, well, that's what everybody says. Well, that's what all my therapists say. Well, try it. Like, it's because, like, I'll, like the other day whenever I was freaking out in the bathroom because I was talking to mom about
your future,
my future and all that, I was just like, out loud, it's okay, you're okay. Like, and sometimes it takes longer.
Sure.
Like, whenever you're in that, like, panic attack state and you're shaking and your heart's racing, like, sometimes it takes longer. But if you just repeat that, and another thing that I found out that really helps is looking at myself in the mirror. Like, looking at my eyes in the mirror. Because it helps me, like, derealization? I've struggled with that a lot, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what's real, what's not?
Right.
Like, what's going on? Why is this happening?
Right.
And looking at myself in the mirror and looking at my eyes helps to really calm me down, because especially if I'm alone, because I'm like, okay, I'm here with myself. Like, I'm not alone because I'm here.
That's right.
That's right. And, obviously the, like, I can never remember the order, and Peyton always corrects me on it, but it's 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, I think. 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So, like,
I've not heard of this.
So, like, if you're sitting there and you're, like, really, really anxious and you're, like, having a panic attack, just where you are right now, you think, okay, 5 things I can see. I can see that flower. I can see that camera. I can see you. I can see this microphone. How many was that? I can see that decor.
Okay.
And then you move on and you're like, okay, 4 things I can, what was it? Hear? Yeah. 4 things I can hear. Okay, I can hear the washing machine in the other room. I can hear you responding to me. I can hear the mower outside and the wind from the fan. And then it's smell. I can smell. Well, I can't really smell anything right now because I have allergies and I can't smell anything. But if I could,
Yeah.
I'd probably smell the laundry. I can taste my water, or I could taste my tongue. If like,
That's
you know,
right.
and
That's
so
right.
like, but the point of that is to distract you from
Shift
whatever's
your
making you
focus.
anxious. Yeah.
Love
And
it.
it's to ground you. Like, it's simultaneously grounding you and making you like aware of your surroundings instead of only aware of what's going on in your head, and taking that focus away from your stressor.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat this. Help me. So it's the 5, 4,
things?
3, 2, 1
Yeah,
rule
yeah.
of all your senses. So
Mhm.
5 things you can see,
See,
4 things you can
hear,
hear, 3 things you can
smell. No,
No, did I?
I think it's 3 things you can touch.
Oh, that's right. 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you can taste. So, you know, so when you're having that moment, take a deep breath and then focus on the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I kind of dig that.
No,
because
yeah,
it is a distraction
right.
from that intrusive playlist that often is negative.
My very first therapist taught me that. It didn't work out between us.
I get it.
We broke up. But
I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so I'm going to ask you just one more question, because listen, you know, the Keep Going project is really, you know, I've said it in the book, I've said it in the last podcast. I am not a therapist. I don't have acronyms behind my name. I'm not a medical or licensed professional. But this is just about helping people that I mean, common people that struggle. Mental illness or mental health really is kind of it's a spectrum. I mean, you know, some people have light anxiety, some people have crippling anxiety, some people have you know, depressive episodes that they're able to control, and they're high functioning. You know, they still go to work and they still do things, but they're typically withdrawn. And then there are people that literally cannot get out of bed. And you know, so there's all over the place. But bottom line, you know, the whole mission behind this project is to help align people that feel alone and feel hopeless and don't feel like they have the resource, and hopefully help connect them with some resources. And that's why we've put together the box. But you and I are equally extremely stubborn when it comes to commitments and committing to therapy and to different things. So through the years, that's been a tug of war battle, you know, between your mom and I and you.
Well, okay, here's the thing.
Level with me.
With me, it's not necessarily that I don't want to be in therapy. I mean, nobody wants to be in therapy.
Right.
But, I mean, it's good for you. It's good for me and everybody, but the thing is, it's just, I think that it really boils down to laziness.
I get it.
And, you know, I mean, laziness comes along with depression.
It does.
And so whenever you're depressed, it's hard to get your ass up
to be motivated,
and go and find somebody that you can talk to. You know,
real talk, girl.
Because like I don't know. I tried the online therapy and it was just
didn't feel as
not
personal.
my thing. No, yeah, it didn't feel as personal. And like there was like a couple times where like we had bad connection right in the middle of whenever I was opening up, and it was like, and so then I had to like repeat it all, and I'm like. Okay, I just want to be in person. Like, I want to be able to see you in person. Like, sit face to face with you. Because, like, I don't know. But, like, the thing about me not going to therapy, I think that it goes hand in hand with laziness.
Look, you're preaching to the choir, so I'm not calling you out.
No,
I'm saying I get it. For me, now, just as a flip side, for those of you that are searching for something, because talk therapy, I do believe, is very important for everybody's journey, especially if you have back trauma, if you've got, you know, feelings of, you know, rejection, abandonment, all of those things that I think really mess with us. I believe that so much of our root causes around mental health happens in our developmental years, okay, from, you know, mostly youth. Okay, and a lot of crap happened to you as a teenager. You know, I mean, you navigated some rough relationships. You know, you have, you know, your own levels of guilt, you know, that is tied to things that caused, you know, junk to happen in your life, right?
I have a lot of guilt with you and Mom.
Wow.
I know you and Mom, you say the same things every time, but I do. I was a shithead. Like,
Wow.
truly and genuinely.
I think
I know that you
have
understand
that
why.
title.
Yeah. I know that you understand, like, what was going on, but I do feel guilty about it, because I'm the reason that you have gray in your beard.
It is light blonde.
Okay. White blonde?
It's a white blonde. Platinum. Platinum is in these days.
Yeah.
So, no, honestly, I understand that, but you should know, I think you do know how incredibly proud we are.
I know, yeah.
Of where you've came, like, and how far you've came. And, emotional intelligence, years ago, I asked my team at Creative Edge, I'm like, what's more important, IQ or EQ? IQ is intelligence.
Yeah.
And then there's emotional intelligence. So if you were to have a bunch of emotional intelligence poured into this cup, or a bunch of just like intellect dumped into this cup, which one would you want to drink more of?
Oh, 100% emotional.
And
but
why,
I mean, like,
so?
I would probably drink a little bit of the intelligence.
Absolutely, yeah. Might as well dip into both.
Because if I'm gonna be emotionally intelligent, I gotta be able to have a vocabulary.
This is
so,
true. But why do you think that's
most
important for us?
I just think that's so much more important, because as humans, we go through so much, and, like, we have to be there for each other. Right. You know? And, like, if you don't have any emotional intelligence, how can you do that? Yeah. You wouldn't have any friends.
That's true. This is true.
Like, you wouldn't have any people to support you, because you, like,
How has emotional intelligence helped you in your journey of keeping going yourself?
The biggest thing is just being empathetic, and, like, I feel like I've always been very empathetic. You've told me stories of before I could even remember, and I think that being empathetic and just always trying to put myself in other people's shoes, even if I'm mad at them. Like, even if somebody, like,
we were just talking
hit my car and then drove away.
Correct.
My brain would be mad at first, like anybody else, and it would be like, "Oh my God, like, that's so rude. Why would they do that?" But then you just got to take a step back and be like, maybe that would be the end of the road for them.
Right.
Maybe they don't have insurance. Maybe they genuinely can't afford it. Right. Maybe they feel bad, but that's what they had to do.
Yeah.
You just gotta
Good.
put yourself in their shoes, and I think that it makes life easier, honestly. Like,
yeah.
in most ways. Like, I've had, like, arguments with friends before, and, like, instead of, like, holding a grudge, I'm just like, well, let me see from their perspective. And then it's like, all right, we talk it out, and it's just like, it makes life easier.
It does.
Being an emotionally intelligent person makes being alive in this sometimes crappy world,
no doubt,
it makes it a lot easier. And, like, even if you don't think that you're an emotionally intelligent person, there's always ways to learn.
Yeah. Like,
always.
Well, I think that, but I would argue that some of the most emotionally intelligent people are people who have been through hell and back. They have suffered a lot, but they've kept going. They have developed resiliency and, like, and determination, and, like, okay, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not going to let this event that happened to me to make me a victim for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I think that is so empowering when you can get there. In something that I wrote in the book that I think it takes a long time to get to, but I just want to throw this at you, and then you tell me, because I think I know what your answer is going to be. But true emotional wisdom, because we've learned that, okay, we gain intelligence, and whatever, by reading and learning and going to school or whatever. But wisdom is this higher level, through experiences, through hardships, through failures, through the different things. And so I said something that, I believe that true wisdom, or especially emotional wisdom, is when you get to a place in your life and you look back on some of the most hard times, the things that were the worst, and you're able to say, but you know what, I'm thankful that I had to go through that, because I would not be who I am today,
right,
had I not. But in the moment that you're going through it, or even right after, it's like, I don't ever want to freaking have to, I don't want to feel that ever again. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
You're, and so I'm not saying that you're like, yeah, I'd like to go through that again. But I think being able to say, the hardest, the darkest, the worst thing that I've done in my life, I would not change it. Trust me, I would like to go back and change some things, and where I hurt other people, where I caused the hurt.
Right.
But coming to an acknowledgement of that, but the things that were done to me was not my fault. And maybe somehow God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is shaping you to be who you're destined to be. You know what I mean? Through the peaks and valleys of life.
Right.
So,
what was that moment for me, or one of them?
Do you have a moment where you can actually say, I hate that, but I know that I'm a better human being today because I had to go through it?
Yeah. I have multiple. But, probably the relationship that I had, that first love that I had. That breakup was terrible. I'm sure you remember. I literally was so broken. And I was also 17 years old.
Yeah.
And whenever you're 17, you're like, oh, I'm never going to find love again.
Right.
But, so that was really, really hard for me. But, not just the breakup. The breakup was so hard, but, I did come out stronger. But also the relationship in itself. I would not go back to that, ever. We're just different people now.
Sure.
But he really did a good job showing me, what I wanted out of a partner. And it showed me what kind of partner I am whenever I'm truly in it, And I feel like I would not relive that, and the breakup was really, really hard. But
you wouldn't want to erase that.
I would never erase it. Yeah, I would never want to erase that from my life.
That's wisdom. That's wisdom, because in the moment, I remember. You were inconsolable. You know?
Yeah.
And
nobody could tell me anything.
No, and at the time you just beat yourself up, and that's where a lot of insecurity started to come in. I saw it unfold, and that's why it was really difficult to watch.
So, Lily Reinhart, she's an actress. You know who that is?
I know the name.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, boomer.
You're not a boomer. Lily Reinhart said something that I saw it I don't even know how long ago, but it has stuck with me. I'm gonna paraphrase. I have no idea what the direct quote is. But she said that you have to feel the bad feelings. You have to feel anxiety. You have to feel depression, anger, any of the anxiety.
Right.
You have to feel those emotions, because it's a beautiful thing to be able to feel those. Because there might be beings somewhere. I don't know. We're getting into the hippie shit.
Yeah.
But there might be beings somewhere that don't have the capacity to feel that.
Right.
And so it is a blessing, and it is a
feel
beautiful thing to be able to feel those things. Because, and I don't know if she said this or if anybody said this, but my brain just told me to say this, and I don't know who it's coming from. If it's coming from me, that's cool. But you can't have happiness without... If there is only happiness in the world, there cannot be any happiness. Sure. Do you know what I mean?
Because then it's just this...
It's just happiness loses meaning.
Correct.
You have to be able to feel those bad things in order to be happy.
Good, babe.
Well,
it's kind of... if it was sunny and blue skies every
Right.
day, we'd take it for granted.
Oh yeah, and it would just become normal.
Well,
We just feel like, oh, it's just another day,
and everything would become dead because
Yeah.
we need rain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but your point is, I mean, I think it's good. That's why there are seasons in life. It's like, okay, you don't like this hot weather we're having, sit by.
Right.
We're gonna have some cold weather soon, and it's and I think that's life. I mean, there's going to be storms in life. There's going to be some beautiful seasons of sun and rainbows and all the
Right.
fun stuff.
Right.
And then there's going to be some ice ages where
Right. Like
things aren't great.
scary.
Yeah.
But like, back to what you said about like wisdom. I mean, that ties right in with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would be a bunch of emotional idiots if we didn't
Correct.
have sadness, depression, and all of that. Like, we
Correct.
would just be walking around
Yeah.
being soulless, basically.
That's true. Well, and I have made, it's very good. I made the comment not too long ago that, for years I was emotionally constipated.
Yeah.
And I think that's true for a lot of men, especially,
Mm-hmm.
just because, especially the older generation
Right.
was not taught to talk about those types of feelings and things like that. And so we just learned to just hold it all in until
And be macho and masculine.
But that's
I put quotes around
correct.
that word.
No, right, and it's absolutely ludicrous, and I think it creates. I'm just going to say it. The emotional constipation creates bad husbands, bad fathers, bad business leaders, and really miserable human beings. And so I think the power of vulnerability, the power of having people to talk to and approach mental health from a place of, the same way we approach physical health, If you put in the work, you're going to see results.
Yeah.
If you don't, then...
Mental health is health.
Correct.
Mhm.
Amen. On that
That
note-
was, I'm pretty sure that was created by my dad.
I don't know about that.
Mental health is health. TM.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Is that right?
Trademark.
Yeah,
I guess.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now before we started, I just put some questions that we can ask each other. And so you go first. And that way we can kind of just get to know things. And this can be, you ask me the question, I'll ask it, and then, I'd like to hear, your response as well.
No, I think we should do it. If I pull the question for you, it's only for you.
Okay, fine.
I think that should be.
Fine.
Describe a time when you feel like you let me down or disappointed me.
Oh boy. Well, I tried my very best to hide how dark and how depressed I was,
Mm-hmm.
and the spiral that I was in, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember a specific day where you were crying and pleading with me to get my shit together, really, and I felt so like such a failure and such a absolute jerk for not being able to have I don't know, for allowing you to see me that way.
Yeah.
But I'm also equally grateful that you did, because I think that it was around that time whenever I said, okay, enough's enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna see every specialist, and I'm gonna try anything
Mm-hmm.
out there
Mm-hmm.
to help me get out of this, because
Right.
I need to be here for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to be here for me. So
Yeah. I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. Okay, this is a deep question, and as only 22 years
gosh.
old, I mean, so
Oh God.
so think about it. How would you like to be remembered after you're gone? Just What legacy would you like to leave behind if you...
All right, let's do a surface level answer
Okay,
first.
that's fine.
First.
Fine.
I think surface level, I want to be remembered as like funny and a good hugger. Because I love hugs. And I love giving hugs. And everybody always tells me that I'm a good
You're the
hugger.
best
So
hugger.
I feel like that might be, and I feel like that might be something that people talk about at my funeral.
100%.
And then deeper, I mean it's a very simple answer, but it's also a very complex answer. I just want to be remembered as a good person. And that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
That's the answer to that question anytime you ask it, most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's true.
It is true.
I mean, it's the same thing, like, you know, those cliche things. Everybody's like, brushes them off. But it's like,
true.
Where do you think they got the track record of being cliche?
Right.
It's because they work.
And
Cliche things can't be cliche if they haven't happened
correct.
so many times.
But
I feel like my grammar was not right there.
Oh, well.
But I think that y'all get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll be interesting to watch the closed captions back.
So
this is her first time speaking English.
I've never.
Okay, your turn.
Oh. What was the hardest part for you to watch? I've also never read English. What was the hardest part of watching me struggle with my mental health?
We kind of brushed this topic a little bit. You know. Okay, I'll say it. You know, not only was your coping mechanisms mostly unhealthy, drinking and just in excess, and just your mom and I constantly worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and especially me. I'm trying not to be emotional.
Yeah.
Going back there, but especially me. And I know, you know, your mom's a big worrier too, but mostly because you're so much like me.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are not in a good place, we have no impulse control a lot of times, and we just, when we want to numb it, we are good at numbing it. And so,
but simultaneously horrible at numbing it.
Correct. No, because it just makes it worse.
Yeah, it does.
Those of you watching and listening, you know, drinking or drugs or anything that you're doing to try to camouflage the root cause of what's going on will never make it better. But you know, so sitting by and watching those times, the times that I've held your hair and tried to get you to puke, and you know, and then
you'll make it sound like it was like countless times.
Okay, well,
it was like twice.
Okay, so your reading skills and your math skills are slightly off today. No, it's
I drank too much of the emotional intelligence.
There you go.
Not enough.
No, to be clear, it was not like every week or anything like that.
Right.
But the handful of times that you overindulged, it always ended with you crying and saying, you know, and it just every time would just rip my heart out. And we'd finally get you to bed, and I'd oftentimes go into the garage and just do my own cry because I just, as a parent, it's like I feel at least for 50% responsible for how your brain works, you know, and you know, but everybody's journey is different. But at the end of the day, it just makes me so damn proud to see how far you've come, you know, and that empathetic side. You are always there to help somebody else, and so I've always said it, there's purpose in our pain. We just have to sometimes take a lot of time to figure out what that is.
Right.
Okay. Describe a time when you felt proud of me.
Are you kidding? Look at what we're doing. Like, seriously. I mean, just over the past few months and whenever this stuff has been, like, really taking off, it's so, because like you brought up earlier, the past few years have been a struggle for you. And so it's so refreshing to see you be passionate again.
Yeah.
And because as a kid, you were left and right doing all these things and like Project Simplify and, you know, hosting things at the building and, you know, doing all of this stuff. And then I think that over the past couple of years, you've just kind of lost that passionate side of you. And I think that you felt like you didn't have a purpose. And so now resurrecting your book and turning it into this is incredible. And I feel like it's an honor to be able to witness it up close.
Oh, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. Well, that was very sweet.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. I don't think I could say anything. I don't think I've ever been prouder.
Well, I'm proud you were with me on this journey.
Me too.
This is us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for it to take off. Describe a moment you feel most alive. Or, yeah, just alive.
You know, when we were all at the lake not too long ago.
You want to know something? I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that specific time too.
Yeah, because I think I made mention.
You said, do you guys know that moment whenever you just feel happy
and just time stands still? It was like there was just good music playing, laughter in the air, the sun. It was beautiful.
It was just all the people that you love.
Yeah, and all my favorite people were there, and it was just like this slow-mo feeling of just like this euphoric, like I am so freaking happy right now. Like this
bliss.
Is yeah. And it's like, you know, and for some people those moments are very, very difficult to come by. But yeah, that was the first thing that I thought about. The second big momentous thing that I share in the book, I think it's in the adventure chapter, that how important it is that we make time to take some adventures, whether it's a hike or whatever. But I talked about our time when we went to Guatemala, and we went high up in the mountains, and actually was like eye level with clouds.
Yeah.
And I remember in that moment
looking down,
it was just like, wow, how cool that I get to be here right now in this moment with my family.
Yeah.
So,
like I was young. So I don't remember a whole lot. Like
you
I
were
remember
10, right? 10
yeah.
Or so.
So like, I remember quite a bit, but there's still bits and pieces, but I do remember standing on that mountain and looking down because it was just one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen.
I've already kind of asked you this, but I'd like for you to elaborate. But what healthy habits or coping skills have you used, or what would you recommend just to kind of keep yourself in a positive state?
Definitely surrounding yourself with the right people. One of my and then obviously the stuff that I said earlier. But right now, okay, so for 2024, something that was on my list of resolutions was to start protecting my peace a lot more. Because I didn't do that for a while. Like I, was a little bit of a people pleaser. And, it was just, I would keep these people in my life or these things in my life that made me not happy.
That weren't serving you.
That weren't, yeah. And and the other day I was talking to Lainey, and I was like, I said, I'm just trying to protect my peace more, because I said, if it's not benefiting me, then why? And I stopped myself and I was like, wait, does that sound narcissistic? And then I was like, no, because even if benefiting you doesn't always mean giving me the, you know what I mean? Right. It could just be like, there's people in my life that only bring me down. That's not benefiting me. No. Why would I have them in my life? Or there's certain things, like certain TV shows. If that show is only making you sad, and then it carries on, because like me as a very empathetic person, like
you feel all the things.
Oh, I feel all the things.
Yeah.
Like if I get attached to characters in a show, I turn the TV off, but I still feel that sadness.
Yeah.
So stop watching it.
Yeah.
At least until you're in a little better headspace.
That's right.
But like, just as an example, but I really, really want to start protecting my peace more. And I've already started doing that,
Really good.
And because like if I'm not being benefited in some way, meaning laughter, happiness, sadness, but in a good way,
Sure, sure.
Because the people that you love, like, you can make me so angry.
No.
Yeah. If you didn't know, you can make me so angry.
Because I know how to pick your buttons.
Right, because we're the same.
Yeah.
But you're not making me angry in a sense. The anger comes from passion.
Yeah.
The anger comes from love. And if you have somebody in your life or something in your life that makes you angry, but it's coming from anger. Yeah. If it's coming from anger, sadness, or just anything negative,
cut it out.
Cut it out. But if it's anger coming from love, that's different, because you can't. I don't know. I think you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel you. No,
I don't even know where that started. What was the question?
Well, things that
coping
you
mechanisms.
Do.
Yeah, and like stuff like that. Surrounding yourself with good people. People that bring you joy.
Your tribe.
Yes.
Like-minded.
Yeah,
folks,
yeah. And just doing things that you like. Like, I've been really struggling with that lately.
Prioritizing yourself.
Right. No, yeah. But I mean, like,
because that's not
narcissism. See,
that's self-care.
No, I agree. I agree. I think that people always say like, "Oh, prioritize yourself." But like, I remember whenever I was going through it harder than I am now, and it was like, well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Where do I even start?
Right.
So it's like, people you love and care about, and they care about you. Good people. Do things you like. That's something that I'm really struggling with right now, because I really like to crochet. I really like to draw. I really like to, I don't know, I can't even think right now. But like, I really like to do certain things, but I don't make time for it, because I'm just like, I'd rather just lay down and like watch TikTok or something. Right. But I need to really prioritize doing those things, because they do bring me joy.
Absolutely.
I made a bag for Brayden a couple months ago, and whenever I finished it, I was literally so happy, and it's adorable. So it's like, because this is a product of me. Like, I made this. Exactly. Yeah, and it feels good.
In our journal, in the Keep Going journal, there's 3 key things that we do every day, and we did this as a family a little bit. Where we would text each other, "Hey, here's a couple things I'm grateful for." Again, they can be really simple. Here's an affirmation statement that I'm going to declare over myself today. Mm-hmm. I'm strong. I'm beautiful. I'm incredible, or I'm whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. And then, list a couple things that you want to knock off your productivity list. Things that you want to, Mm-hmm. And the reason why we did that is, number one, gratitude and anxiety cannot live in the same space of the brain at the same time. Mm-hmm. So that is a proven scientific fact. Mm-hmm. Affirmations, how we talk to ourselves matters, right? Yeah. You know that.
100%.
And unfortunately, a bunch of crap that we think out loud or to ourselves is normally, I am something negative. Right? We all crap on ourselves. Mm-hmm. But then the last thing is the productivity. There's a reason why, when you were younger and you would fight your mom tooth and nail to clean your room. Mm-hmm. But then once you finally did it,
I felt so good.
You were like, "Guys, come see my room.
Yeah.
It looks, look what I did here."
Yeah.
And
look at how good it looks.
It releases those happy, endorphins, those happy endorphins that literally are like applauding you, going, "Good job. See what you did." But why do we struggle to start?
Yeah.
That is, and so as far as being motivated to do something outside the box. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do just a couple more.
Wait, I think it's my turn.
Okay. Well, here, go ahead. I think it's my turn.
It is my turn. What's your current dream for your life?
See, some of these were ones I was hoping
to get for me.
Yes. You see my dream is unfolding right here.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, as long as you've been alive, you've known that I have a passion for helping people. Mm-hmm. And I have after my Uncle Kerry died in 2005, it's almost been 20 years ago. He was like everything to me. Mm-hmm. Your mom bought me a journal, and the first entry page in the journal said, "Dare to unpack those dreams that self-doubt have forced into hiding." You know, mm-hmm. Basically, what dreams did you used to dream about, and then you became a cynical adult and said, "Screw it, I'm not. That's not worth."
Yeah.
Going towards. But what I wrote in that, and I shared this with Brian on the podcast before, but I didn't know if you'd ever heard this, but I actually wrote, I said, someday I want to write a book that can help people that are struggling and give them the courage to overcome, the same way that I have. And I wanted to be a light in this world the same way Carrie was. Mm-hmm. And so, anyway, so I mean, what we're doing here right now,
that's really cool.
Is I just want to make an impact in some way, in a positive way, to help people, to give them the courage to say you're not alone. Right. I see you. Keep going.
Right. So, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. I like that.
Okay, well, when the camera's not rolling, I'm going to ask you some of these questions. Okay, so the next question is, the subtitle to my book is A Relentless Pursuit to Find Peace, Passion, and Purpose. Mm-hmm. Where would you say you are personally in this pursuit of those three things?
I need to look at that with my own eyes.
Well, and you know what's cool is I like that earlier you were talking about protecting your peace.
Yeah.
Which I think is a major truth bomb that we need to...
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think a lot of people need to work on it.
No doubt.
I mean...
And saying no to the things that do not serve you. And it's not selfish.
Right.
And I think that we've told ourselves, like, oh, if I don't want to hurt this person's feelings or whatever. Mm-hmm. But... It's
like sometimes, like...
your peace.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, sometimes, like, I don't want to say, like, oh, you just have to hurt feelings. But, like... Sometimes it just has to happen.
Yeah.
And
there's a nice way to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, if somebody is just bringing you down, there's a way, like, there's a mature way to just go about it and say, I truly wish you the best, but I think that... This is
what I need.
I think that this is what I need for myself. Exactly. Okay, let me dissect this. The subtitle keep going, A Relentless Pursuit to Find Peace, Passion, and Purpose. Well, I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, I'm working on protecting my peace, like you just said. I have yet to find my purpose. I love working with kids. I can't, right now, it's very complicated, and right now it's very, cloudy on if that's my purpose.
I get it.
There's just a lot of things that go into it that's making it hard to see. But and I think that I have lost a little bit of passion. And I mean, I'm passionate about the way that I feel about the people I love. I'm passionate about, my dog. I love him to death. He's my son. He's my blood. But I think that I've lost a lot of passion in the things that I like doing. Yeah. Like art. That's the biggest one. Yeah. I mean, I used to every single night have all of my paint stuff set out on the entire dining room table, and I'm sure it annoyed you and Mom a little bit, but I'm sure you kind of miss it now.
I totally
because it's like, and I miss it too. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of lost my passion a little bit, but I'm working on getting it back. And I think that I've been doing, this is so like random, but I've been doing my nails a lot. Right now they're boring. They're just a plain color, but I've been really doing like nail art.
Yeah.
And I think that it's been a really good outlet for me because it's like I enjoy doing it. I'm getting better at it. And I think I want to, I haven't even talked to you, but I haven't even told you this yet. But I think I want to start making like press-on nails and selling them.
Okay.
That could be cool for a little
Bring
bit.
it on.
I'm going with the flow right now.
So you're igniting a passion that's art with, you know, and so yeah, that's
entrepreneurship.
Look, that's how life works. Me. You know, Walt Disney was rejected. Here's a funny side note. This is why when I talk to young people like your age or even 28, 30 that are still feeling like their vision for the future is cloudy. Give yourself a break.
Right.
Give yourself some grace.
Right.
Harrison Ford, who, you know, was, became a very famous actor, was a carpenter until he was 40 and then decided, you know what, I'm going to give acting a try.
Didn't LeBron James not make the basketball team at first?
That was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was cut, from the high school team. Went home, locked himself in his room for 3 days, and was depressed and thought that his whole life was over. Now he's got a whole shoe line. And now that dude is truly a goat.
Yeah.
I mean, Dad. Isn't that what you kids say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But anyway, no, there's so many really inspiring people out there that had failures, that had upset, that, you know, Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because they said that he wasn't creative enough. And then later,
that's crazy.
And then I know, and later became one of the most creative people ever.
I bet they feel like idiots.
Yeah, right. But the point is, to you and to young people watching, like, you just have to keep putting yourself out there, doing different things. Take a random class or pottery or something, or take a music lesson or what, until you find that thing that makes you feel alive. Right. Going back to a question, because that really is passion. And something that I say in the book is that once you find passion, typically purpose lives next door. Yeah. And so you can then kind of combine those things, and you've got something great. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap it up there. And so we have within the next, by the time that this airs and is playing, our website will be fully up and running. It's justkeepgoing.org. And super excited. We're going to have a full shop on there. You can buy, I'm calling this box like the ultimate gift of encouragement. Everybody knows somebody that's going through a time, kind of like what you described. Everybody's got a kid or a niece or a best friend that maybe just went through a bad breakup. Or
just themselves,
or just they're in a low self-loathing state, and this time of year when kids are going back to college, like or maybe for the first time they're going to college, and they're terrified, because it's a whole new thing. I mean, life, you said this earlier, life is so hard, it's so beautiful, but it's full of a lot of
sometimes crappy moments.
And it's so hard to navigate. And so this is a great gift that I'm excited to put into the hands of people that are needing them. Yeah. That little pick me up and with it's, it reminds them I am worthy. I am enough. You said that earlier in the podcast. Yeah. And then finally, once you can get to a place of feeling like I'm unstoppable, like I don't care who tells me that I can't do it or what my mind tells me, in a negative place. But I'm believing that I'm unstoppable and I can do whatever I set my mind to. And that's my hope and goal for this project and for everybody that stumbles across it. I couldn't be more proud of you. And
I couldn't. Same to you.
I love you very much.
I love you.
I know that this is kind of hard to be intertangled, but anyway, well, let's do this again sometime.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm down. I had a good time.
All right. Well, until then, thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more. Keep going.